Hey everybody, welcome to Make It with Mod Podge. You can see I got my arms full of these faux pumpkins. They're all decoupaged with napkins. And Steve's gonna show you how to do this super easy technique.
Thanks, Kat, for that introduction. Hey everybody, I'm Steve Piacenza, and today's a really fun day. We are going to be making over these fake pumpkins using Mod Podge and napkins. Let me show you a few right now. You can see right here, these are napkins right on top of these pumpkins. Super easy to do and really fun to make. These are great for the holiday. These are great for you on top of your mantles, on front of your porch, even a coordinated look for maybe your tabletop. The great thing about these is you can pull them out every single year and they're ready to go. So let's get started. Let me show you. The first thing, we're gonna start with this one, is you want to be able to prime your fake pumpkins. You can see this is just the plain orange one, and we use the chalk right here, decor, to paint the pumpkins. Now the reason why we paint the pumpkins is because the napkins, when you put them down, if you don't prime them, you're gonna see through them, they're just gonna disappear. You can see we primed right here. We did a half mark on this one just so we could see some of that orange coming through. This one here, we did an all around look with the napkin, so we completely primed this pumpkin. And this pumpkin here was already white, this cream color, so this was great to go. Again, I'm sure you guys have seen them before. There's all sorts of different colored pumpkins. So here's a black one. I'm even seeing green ones in the stores. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is this one right here. Now this is a really cool one because this came from the dollar store, these napkins here, and you can see how interesting they are. Just kind of different, so I grabbed them. This is kind of a fall harvest look with these really cool fall leaves, and I just did a little trim on this one. So I just went right around and trimmed it, and from there you want to make sure that they usually come in either 2-ply or 3-ply. You want to work with just the 1-ply of the napkin, and you're just going to peel that off. You can see right here, it just comes right off. All napkins usually have this, and they come off pretty easy. Just want to be a little bit careful with that and separate it. There we go. And your next step is going to be either you can spritz. A lot of people like to spritz their napkins with some water. Since this one is so small, I'm not gonna spritz it. It kind of takes away the wrinkles sometimes, but I've done this one without spritzing, so I'm just gonna add the Mod Podge right on top of my pumpkin. As you can see, I made this little display right here, kind of coordinating it. So this one is going to follow the other two that I did. I'm just gonna lay that one right down on top of that. And the way to do that is you're just gonna take your Mod Podge, of course, and we're just going to add that right on top of the pumpkin itself. And you want to get a nice layer, just a thin layer right on top. You're gonna cover that in the area that I'm gonna put it. There we go. You don't need too much of this, not too thin, not too thick. And then I'm going to match this up with my other ones, as you can see right on top there. Very simply, gonna go right on top, drop that down, and let that fall on its own. And then I'm gonna take my Mod Podge brush, I'm gonna take some of that off and just gently go over it. Now you can see some of those little wrinkles are coming through, which is fine because that kind of adds to that look. And we're just gonna press that down right on top. Okay, now once I have that in place, I like to take a little bit more Mod Podge, about that much on the brush, and I'm just going to gently go over this. Now you guys wanna be a little bit careful with this because again, napkins are really thin and they can tear, but if you're a little bit gentle with it, you're gonna be just fine. And I'm gonna cover that whole entire napkin so that it presses right on down, and just make sure you hit all those edges, and there we go. It is that simple. You can see right now, again, we say it all the time on all our videos, it's a little bit foggy right now, a little bit milky, but that's gonna dry completely clear like the rest of these. Now this is the gloss formula. You can see that nice nice shine. If you wanted it a little bit less, you can use the satin formula. And if you wanted it completely matte, of course you use the matte formula. So there we go. There is our first pumpkin. Let's move on to our next pumpkin. This one here is really fun to make also. This is a half pumpkin. So of course you can do the entire pumpkin if you want, but we decided let's do a little bit of half. Let's do the half of the napkin and then we'll keep the orange. But again, we primed it, remember, because you don't want that napkin to disappear with the orange. Now I already pre-cut my napkin right here, so this is gonna fit nicely. And the reason why I pre-cut it is because you do not want too much overlay. You wanna get as close to the edge as you can. And of course you want your napkin to be above that prime line. So let's do that one right now. I'm gonna go a little bit over the edge on this side where that other napkin's already on there. And I'm gonna go right up to my priming chalk line with our chalk paint. And we're gonna just cover the entire rest of that primed area. Nice layer, make sure you do get all of that covered. Okay, and now we're going to lay the pumpkin on. Okay, let's see, let's line that up. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to line that up going this way and get it right above that line. You can see how I'm gonna just line it. Make sure I'm right above that prime line. You can move it around a little bit. And there we go. Now you can see again, I don't have too much overlay. I'm gonna show you in just a minute why you don't want too much overlay. And I'm just gonna push that down, make sure it seals with the Mod Podge. I'm sealing that right now, and I'm moving straight down, again with a light brush, so we don't tear it. Add a little bit more Mod Podge on there. Make that look nice. And I'm just working my way down. And all this excess that you're seeing right here hanging is going to tuck away nicely right on the bottom where you're not going to see it. So we're gonna add a little bit of Mod Podge right in there, guys, just so that that napkin can seal down beautifully. You can see how it folds right down in there. Seal that up. And now let's smooth all this out. We had a nice final coat, a nice sealer coat on top of this. Again, a glue and a sealer. Super fun to make. These you can pull out every single year and they're gonna look the same. Okay, just get that. Okay, and there we have it, guys. There it is. Again, it's gonna dry, and there is our half pumpkin. We've got our orange, and we've got our napkin right down here. Lots of great napkins out there, lots of great looks. Look for them. Let's put this one aside, and let's move on to our next pumpkin. Our next pumpkin, we did the full pumpkin. Again, we primed it first, and then we added the pumpkin. Now I wanna show you what I was talking about earlier. I did this one overlay on, this is like a double overlay, and you can see how it kind of gets muddy a little bit. So we just wanted to show you that, how it kind of gets muddy. And then this part here is the single part. So I guess depending the kind of look you want, but that kind of, it muddies up a little bit. So again, this one is kind of a patchwork. I have a couple pieces already cut. You can see right here, again, this was a 3-ply. I pulled off all 3 layers, and this was the single ply that I'm gonna just put right on top. And you can see I'm going to cut a little bit of this. So I'm gonna start with that little square piece. And let me use my scissors. And I'm gonna cut this in half. Like so. And then maybe just a little bit more right here. So I have a nice little square piece. And I'm gonna cover this little area right on top. And then this bottom part will take one of those full half pieces. So let's just go around really quickly. Get your Mod Podge on. Going over on top of this piece a little bit so it sticks. And then we're gonna go right on top of that. Press it in. gently layer that up. And let's give it the final seal. Okay, let's move on to this piece right down here. And this is gonna be half the napkin. So again, we'll just cover that. Make sure that you get a nice thin layer right on top of that. Okay, and then we're gonna drop this piece right on top. And you can see how that all blends really nicely together. Not too much overlay, like I said. And add a little more Mod Podge on there and tuck this piece under. And let's seal that up. And there we have it, guys. And let that dry, and there's the final on that one. So here is our 3 pumpkins. Here is your fake pumpkin napkin tutorial in, I hope, under 5 minutes. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope to see you next week. Don't forget to hashtag Plaid Crafts, hashtag Mod Podge. If you make a fake pumpkin with napkins and Mod Podge, please send them our way. We'd love to see what you make, and we'll see you next Thursday for another episode of Make It with Mod Podge. Happy Halloween.